Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Freedom International live stream. With me are Steve Fierro, and he is from Awaken Mind podcast, and all the way in Asia, and Dr. Mary Elizabeth from US, and he's a PharmD, and we have Dr. Jane Marquis from Canada with Empowered Health podcast, and Hartmut from Schumacher from Germany, and yours truly, Grace Asagra. I'm originally from the Philippines, and I am now here in Princeton, New Jersey. So, as as last year we got together, we found each other collaborating because we feel that we needed to powwow together. And for today's, we are so happy and privileged to have the man, the Del Bigtree, who is the host of the High Wire. Okay, and Del, it has been an exceptional, preeminent voice of the vaccine risk awareness movement. And I don't know who doesn't know Del, but I know that in a lot of Patriot meetings that I've attended, everyone knows Del. His career as an Emmy winning producer of the CBS talk show The Doctors changed profoundly when he produced the documentary Vax, From Cover Up to Catastrophe, which is credited with igniting a revolution against pharmaceutical tyranny around the world. Now, Dell's internet news show, The High Wire, is the fastest growing program in the natural health arena with over 75 million views. And I do know that some people are wishing that that High Wire could be translated into many languages because it is so crucial that people around the world understand what's going on. And so his nonprofit, the Informed Consent Action Network, or ICANN, which is beautiful also, is leading worldwide investigations into drug and vaccine fraud that have already resulted in multiple winning lawsuits against US government agencies, Health and Human Services, the National Institutes of Health, CDC, and FDA, that some of you believe that it's all science information and that's all you have to listen to. But Del is probably best known for his powerful speeches that weave shocking truth, searing wit, and dynamic passion into an experience that is often derived as electrifying. And that's very true because there were many moments that I was teary, and others feel really like they want to cry. But with that tears, we feel empowered when Del puts up certain program and all those interviews and video clips here and there. So thank you, Del, for being here, and I'm glad you feel so much better now. What I wanted to start with is, although I read some of your mini biography, but who is really Del? And I asked that question because when I first heard your name, Del Bigtree, first I said, there's something in that big tree that is beyond what we see on the stream. And say, I come from an indigenous tradition in the Philippines. And then, of course, everyone knows about the power of words, the power of thoughts, Bruce Lipton, and everyone seemed to be practicing that. And that, and yet that Del Bigtree, also the image that I have in my head is a big tree. And what does the tree represent? Shelter, food, not just shelter for people, but shelter for different insects and animals, and shelter for the mushrooms, which is like the network beyond the internet. Okay, so when you said, and then of course I heard one of my favorite interview was when you had to share your family stories. So please, it's better to hear from you than me because the words with you and the sound with you that electrifies magnetic electric frequencies that you bring truth and empowerment to people. So whatever you want to share from what I ever said, I don't really have a question from that.
Well, it's dangerous to ask them, who they are, and when at the center is what a person that really likes to talk. So I'll try and keep it tight. Yeah, my last name Bigtree is a name. I took that last name. It was my mother's maiden name. My grandfather Norman Bigtree moved off the reservation, the Mohawk Reservation in upstate New York, and ended up working for Chrysler. I was actually just hanging with my family recently, and my mother was talking about how she felt like when I changed my name over to her name, Bigtree, that I had taken on some of the attributes of my late grandfather, who was a warrior himself. He was influential in bringing the Union into Chrysler, where he worked in New York, and was in a branch that was doing a lot of experiments, and ended up dying young. And we've only just recently sort of found out that that was because he was working on a nuclear car, and of course, there were health issues that were around a product that never ended up making it to to the people, thankfully so. But it's interesting. I do, my father is still married to my mother. My father, I grew up with the last name Groverland, but my father had changed his life. He was one of those brilliant, he's a dynamic speaker himself. A New Age minister, teaches meditation and A Course in Miracles, and also is a metaphysical Bible teacher. And so I grew up the son of a minister, and my brother and sister, I'm the oldest, but my younger brother and sister are ministers. I suppose I was supposed to take over the family church in Boulder, Colorado, but it just never felt like my mission. I thought I had a place in this world. I wanted to make the world a better place, which has always been a part of my entire family's goal. But I think I just felt I had a different destiny, which I think these last few years, I feel that I have found what that yearning and longing was. I am one of those people that would say I'll never win a pity party when I'm around friends talking about how bad their parents were or how difficult childhood was. I had a brilliant upbringing. I had parents that were very conscious parents. That my mother pulled me out of school in fourth grade when she really felt that I was deferring to my friends' opinions of who I was or what I should be. And she said, I'm going to raise leaders. And I think, I say that because I think we all, as parents, need to take that job very seriously. So often we just have the schools raising our kids and the nanny feeding our kids. And I wonder how that makes someone a parent. This is the future of our world. And many of the issues we have right now is because an education system that has brainwashed our children into forgetting how brilliant and powerful they are. What it means, I think, to be created in the image and likeness of God. We are these spectacular beings on this planet, and there seems to be this great lie. I think the greatest lie ever told, and I'm stealing that from some other speaker, I'm not sure who, but is that human beings are just a disease on this planet, and we're killing the planet. All of that sort of languaging, and I grew up in that. I grew up in a sort of liberal, progressive space, and I look back at that now, and my friends, when they talk like that, I really find that horrifying. We've separated ourselves from nature. We're looking down on ourselves. I think we need to start sort of striving to be the brilliant, powerful individuals that we're designed to be. And of course, when I say individuals, of course, I believe that we're all a family. We're all on this planet together. But just like our body is made up of billions of different cells, each one of those cells has to do its job. It has to stand and carry its job. It can't think about the greater whole. That happens by something greater than ourselves. I think we're overly focused right now on the good of the whole. And that means to so many people to forget who I am and what my spectacular job is on this planet. I think we need to celebrate the individual, which is really what is the founders of America believed in. Different than almost every other nation in the world is how spectacular the individual and independence is, that we are a great nation together because we're powerful as individuals. I think that's been lost by our governments. It's certainly lost in this time, and it's something that I think drives who I am. I care about my fellow man, my brothers and sisters, but my job is to be as spectacular and powerful in myself in doing what I see as necessary, so that to represent to the world that if we all do that, I think that this is that spectacular Eden, that beautiful blue orb we're all sharing together is a better place to live.
Well, thank you so much. Well, since you did mention about the macro concern and then you brought it to the micro concern, and as individuals, we can only be powerful as we are intentionally or being aware of what we do day to day. So, how about how is your day to day in preparation for your ministry? Because I see that you haven't left your parents, your family's ministry. You're just being in a bigger church, in a
Yeah.
global church, and who knows, it will be a universal church. So, how's your day?
You know, that's I'm one of the lucky people that I wake up every morning driven and empowered by and inspired by the mission I find myself on. I'm spreading truth, an incredible background in life that led me to understand